Hello. I'm, as you may have noticed, very old. And that means I come from a time when BMW built all of its cars with beautiful, creamy, buttery, smooth, straight six engines. That has now become a rarity. Most of us who experience BMW today will do so through the means of a 2-litre 4-cylinder diesel. But thankfully, there are a few of the old sixes left, and this, the 840i, has one of them. It's a 3-litre turbocharged straight six petrol engine. Now, turbocharging is not really what we want to see here, because if we're being truly purist about it, and yes, we are, a BMW straight six should be naturally aspirated. The turbochargers do take away a bit of the aural wonderment of this engine, but nonetheless, compared to a diesel, compared to most other petrol engines, the lump that's under this bonnet is beautiful. It is beautiful to the ears, and it's beautiful to your right foot. 340 horsepower, 500 Newton meters. And the hilarious part is that this is actually the basic 8 Series. This is the cheapest 8 Series you can buy. This baby starts at the bargain bucket price of €107,000. Now, this one isn't €107,000. This one's about €123,000 because it's got a whole Fiesta's worth of options on it. But nonetheless, if you want an 8 Series, and yes you do, and if you want one with the 3-litre straight six petrol engine, and yes you do, this is the cheapest one you can buy. So what's the 840i Gran Coupe actually like to drive? Well, you probably won't be surprised to hear that it's pretty wafty, because underneath there lies the carbon core, partially lightweight, and I say partially lightweight because this is actually quite a big, heavy and chunky car. It would be much more so were it not for the use of carbon fibre underneath car. But it is kind of slightly related to the 7 Series. It's also kind of slightly an upscaled 5 Series. It's a bit of a hodgepodge in that respect. And that means that the 8 Series tag actually is a little bit confusing, because really, if we're being honest, this is actually a 6 Series. This kind of fits between the 5 and the 7 in terms of luxury, in terms of sporting intent, even in terms of price really, although obviously it skews much closer to the 7 than it does to the 5. Nevertheless, to drive, it's much more coherent than anything I've just said. It is big and hefty, yes, but it also feels wieldy and surprisingly nimble for a big long car riding on big wheels and wide low profile tyres. The steering is, even without turning on the sport mode, beautifully weighted, talkative, communicative, and it makes the car feel so much more biddable and pointable, even on really tight, twisty, nasty little country roads like we're driving on now. Obviously, it's much more suited to a full flat to the floor strop down the autobahn than it is to avoiding sheep up here in the Wicklow Mountains. But the brilliant thing about this car is that it does both pretty much equally well. The overwhelming star of the performance though is that engine. It is just so smooth. It is like the finest quality double cream made into metal form. It is just a delightful power plant to use. It's not even that thirsty. Yes, if you're pressing on, you'll dip down to sort of 17-18 miles to the gallon, but if you're cruising gently, you should just about see the sunny side of 30. That is cruising very gently, however. Ride quality is surprisingly good. Again, for a car on wheels and tyres like this, you would think it would absolutely clatter into every surface going. But again, even up here in the bumpy, bouncy Wicklow Mountains, it's staying remarkably supple. It's staying remarkably smooth. It is a very comfy cross-continent express. A true gentleman's or gentle lady's Grand Tourer. This is the kind of car where you sit into it in Dublin of a morning and you arrive later that evening in Milan, still feeling fresh, still feeling perky, still looking the part, which helpfully the car does too. So for €123,000, including extras, is this 840i Gran Coupe worth the rub? Yeah, I think it is, because primarily it is one of the very few BMWs that BMW currently builds that you can say is unequivocally gorgeous. This is a truly beautiful car, and it doesn't even need the crazy expensive paint option to make it so. It is hopelessly good looking, and that is a genuine rarity today in anything coming out of Munich. There are far too many ugly BMWs around, so please, if you have the wherewithal, or if your 6 numbers come up in the next few days, go out and get one of these, because we need more good-looking BMWs on the road. And definitely go for the petrol version. Yes, the diesel is wonderful, and yes, it has longer legs, and yes, it has all the torque in the world, but you don't need anything more than this engine. A straight six in the front of a gorgeous car by BMW. Suddenly, being old doesn't feel so bad anymore. Well, thanks for watching. We hope you've liked this review of the BMW 840i Gran Coupe. If you have liked what you've seen, and if you've liked my witterings, please hit the old thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe to the Complete Car YouTube channel. Lots more reviews there to look at and enjoy.